When you're constantly focused on everything outside yourself, you lose touch with what's going on inside. That's why inward focus is crucial, especially if, like me, you've been outwardly focused your entire life. Hi, I'm Barb Nangle. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. If you're tired of feeling fragmented and overwhelmed, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of wholeness, authenticity, and healthy boundaries. I'm a woman in recovery who is also a boundaries coach and speaker. I share raw and honest insights from my own journey and the principles of 12-step recovery. Discover how to set boundaries without guilt or shame, overcome people-pleasing tendencies, manage your emotions effectively, cultivate a stronger sense of self, and build healthier relationships. My approach is raw, honest, and sometimes a lot sweary. I'm an avid beachcomber and a formerly closeted fan of the Hallmark Channel, especially Christmas movies. I wear fingerless gloves almost all year round because my hands are always cold, and I love taking pictures of license plates with my initials BN on them. I don't speak for or endorse any particular 12-step program of recovery. Though I'm a huge fan of 12-step recovery and a member of two such fellowships, I cannot speak for them. If you're ready for real talk and practical tools for transformation, keep listening. This is episode 315, Keep the Focus on Yourself, the number one boundary setting rule. One of my main mantras for clients is keep the focus on yourself. I jokingly tell them, want to know what my top 5 rules for setting boundaries is? Keep the focus on yourself, 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 keep the focus on yourself. Now, I came up with that on the fly during my first group coaching program when I realized I wasn't getting the concept across clearly. We all laughed about it, but at the end of the program, that is what they remembered most because it was funny and because I said it 5 times. Now, this idea is really important for a bunch of reasons, but here's what I've learned. A lot of people here keep the focus on yourself and think it means be selfish, like put yourself first and don't give a shit about anyone else. That could not be further from the truth. It's actually about stopping the focus on what other people, places, and things are doing or not doing and turning that focus inward. It means stop trying to change everything around you. Stop trying to get people in your life to behave how you want them to, and start using that energy and effort on yourself. The goal is for you to get clear on what do I want or need here? What do I like, need, and prefer? What's okay with me and what's not okay with me? When you're constantly focused on everything outside yourself, you lose touch with what's going on inside. That's why inward focus is crucial, especially if, like me, you've been outwardly focused your entire life. Before recovery, I thought I knew myself. I was introspective as hell, did all kinds of work, took every friggin' personality assessment and quiz I could take. But I didn't know myself at all. I had no idea what my preferences were because I was such a chameleon. And I used to be proud of that, proud that I could fit in anywhere. But here's the truth. No, you can't. Nobody can. Not everyone likes the same things. And if you're being real and authentic, you can't fit in everywhere. And that's how it should be. Not everyone is for you, and you're not for everyone. I love the way that Brooke Castillo talks about this. I know I've shared it elsewhere, but I just love this metaphor. She says, you're a peach. And not everybody likes peaches. But when someone doesn't like actual peaches, we don't blame the peach and we don't blame the person either. It's just some people don't like peaches. Well, here's the deal. Some people won't like you. And guess what? That's okay. When you focus on yourself, on what you want need, like, and prefer, you're going to have a way better life. And you'll stop catering to people who don't like you. When you do that, you start attracting people who actually like the real you because you're finally showing them who that is. I didn't even have my own drink back when I drank alcohol. I changed what I drank based on who I was dating. I watched sports that I didn't really care about. I've been a fan of sports teams several times, and I didn't care about them. I ate at restaurants I didn't really want to go to just to keep the peace. Now, doing things like that occasionally is fine, but if it's your go-to way of living, you're not going to have a satisfying life. Not only are you doing things you don't enjoy, but you'll probably build up resentment toward the people you're constantly caving into. And if you're anything like I was before recovery, you'll end up blaming them, even though you're the one focusing on them and prioritizing their needs. Another thing that happens when you're externally focused is you give a lot of unsolicited advice. You think you know what everyone else should do, and then you get upset when they don't take your unsolicited advice. I know this because that was me. We try to be all things to all people. And I think this is especially true for moms. When your kids are little, you have to be externally focused. They can't meet their own needs, but your job as a parent is to give them roots and wings, ground them in being good, decent human beings, but also teach them to fly away and make their own mistakes, because that is how learning happens. You can't tell your kids, I did this, don't do it. You can say that, but it actually doesn't work. Can you remember your parents doing that to you? They're going to learn by making their own mistakes and having the repercussions of those mistakes. Now, here are some of my recommendations on how to keep the focus on yourself. So, number one is ask yourself, what do I want or need in this situation? I never used to do this. Number two, mind your own business. Stop giving unsolicited advice. Be helpful, but only once you've gotten people's consent. Or better yet, wait until they ask for it. Number three, ask yourself, what is my part here? Now, that is language we use in recovery. If that doesn't appeal to you, you can reframe it as, what might I do differently? I had no idea how much I was contributing to the chaos in my own life and around me until I started actively looking for what's my part here. And this, hands down, greatest gift of recovery is understanding what the fuck I was doing in my own life. And here's why it was important, because if I'm doing it, I can stop doing it. If other people really are the problem, oh my God, you're screwed. And remember, when you discover your part, it's info, not ammo. Use this as information to learn and grow from, not ammunition to beat yourself up. Number four, ask, whose feelings are these? Sometimes we're feeling other people's feelings, which is overwhelming. I used to feel like I was permeable, but healthy boundaries act like an energetic force field. You stop absorbing everyone else's stuff, including their feelings. And also remember, it is not your job to manage other people's feelings. They get to feel however they feel. If someone is upset with you, that's okay. They get to be upset. You're not responsible for cheering them up unless they ask you and you want to. And whether their upsettedness is about you or some other external thing, it's not your job to make people happy. It's your job to manage your own feelings. And then the fifth way that I recommend keeping the focus on yourself is to engage in consistent self-care. And by self-care, what I mean is what fuels you. Figure out what drains me and do less of that. And then what energizes me and do more of that. Now, this isn't about basic maintenance like brushing your teeth. It's about activities that energize and restore you. For some people, that's exercise. For others, it's creative expression, walking in nature, spiritual connection, whatever fills your cup. You want to fill your cup, hopefully before you even go out into the day, so that you're pouring from the overflow rather than from an empty cup. So do something every day, ideally multiple times a day. So don't pour from the empty cup, pour from the overflow. If you never engage in self-care, your cup will always be empty, and that leads to resentment. So the bottom line is keeping the focus on yourself is not about being selfish and never caring about others. It's about focusing inwardly and taking responsibility for your own life and well-being. Stop trying to get everyone else to meet your needs for validation or whatever it is. When other people affirm or care for us, that's a bonus, but it's not something we rely on to survive. Yeah, of course, we all want external validation sometimes, but make sure you have your own approval first. I heard somebody say this, and I love this. It's fine to seek other people's approval, but only if you have your own approval first. In other words, if you're going to compromise your integrity to get someone else's approval, don't do it. But if you feel really good about yourself in seeking someone else's approval, go ahead and do it. Now, if you're compromising yourself to get their approval, you've already lost. So keep the focus on yourself, focus inwardly, take responsibility for your own actions. Your life will be so much better when you do that. If you're part of ACA or are ACA curious but haven't quite gotten grounded in the literature, I'm offering a new 4-week mentoring experience. We're not doing step work, and I'm not acting as a sponsor. Instead, I'll be walking you through some of ACA's most important writings: the problem, the solution, the promises, and both laundry lists. It's gentle, guided, and meant to help you connect the dots between the words on the page and your life. I decided to create this offer in honor of my 10 years in ACA, which I celebrated on Friday, April 18th, 2025. If this speaks to you, go to higherpowercc.com/ACA mentoring or message me. If you like this podcast, and I'm guessing you did because you're still listening, you will also love my weekly newsletter, Friday Fragments, which has short essays similar to the podcast. You can check it out at fridayfragments.news. That's fridayfragments.news. If you haven't already subscribed to my podcast on your favorite podcast outlet, please do that. It helps carry the message to more people. I started this podcast because there was so much wisdom in recovery that just wasn't making its way out into the world. So I want as many people as possible to hear it. I'd also love it if you'd leave a 5-star rating or a review, which you can do on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find it so they can get the benefits that you've gotten from listening. If someone in particular came to mind when you listen to this episode, please share it with them. And my favorite place to hang out on social media is Instagram. I'm at Higher Power Coaching. Please DM me there. I'd love to hear what you got from this episode. I run private and group coaching programs on building healthy boundaries. Whether you need help with boundaries in your personal, professional, or romantic life, I can help. Head on over to barbchat.net where you can get on my calendar for a free 30-minute Better Boundaries consultation. I also do short-term situational coaching to help people make it through specific situations they're going through, such as divorce, empty nesting, preparing for retirement, or any phase where their identity is shifting. Regardless of the type of coaching, my ideal client is someone who is ripe for change. If that's you, I'd love to work with you. My goal with all my work is to help you make lasting changes in your life, like I've made deep, lasting changes in my life. Remember, it's never too late to recover. No one is beyond hope, and healing is possible. Thanks for listening.